I stand on this platform on behalf of UNICEF, but more importantly, on behalf of children. And for this particular session, on behalf of the children in Nepal, and partly their mothers, who are the women in Nepal. And from UNICEF, I'm greatly honored to be in this meeting, to be able to listen to and support all the efforts of child justice system in the country. And therefore, I'm greatly honored to be present here today amongst all the esteemed guests and the very important experts and professionals working in juvenile justice, and thus the National Symposium that is being held today. Your presence, all of you, on this very great day, a Saturday in May, it really shows high commitment to the issues of juvenile justice in terms of the policies, the processes, and the actions that are being undertaken in the different parts of the country, from the federal to the subnational levels, to ensure that children are kept protected and they can be given the opportunities to be able to grow and contribute to their societies as is expected by all of us. Children may come in conflict with the justice system for many reasons. Number one, they may come into the system, in contact with the system, as survivors of an abuse, of survivors of a criminal activity, which may have impacted on them negatively. They may also be witnesses who saw what happened, which might be very grave and has huge impacts on their health and well-being, or they may be accused of an offense. Effective processes of the system, the justice system, are essential for realization of their rights, despite on how they come into contact with or in conflict with the law. And therefore, access to justice for children is core to UNICEF's mandate under the Child Rights Convention, which is the CRC. And recognizing access to justice is a fundamental human right. It's what is expected of us as rights holders to put in place the systems that can ensure that when children come into contact with the law, they can be judiciously handled, but again, given the opportunities to learn from those mistakes and be able to grow and explore their potential. This very aspect of child justice is one of the cores in the Sustainable Development Goals. It has got a target for countries to be looking at and address, and therefore it remains very important for the country, but also globally. It's an area that at the global level, it aspires to be met, because we also see when it is not addressed, we can see the challenges of the world today, and those may have been children whose attention was not given or whose issues were not addressed at the right time. These targets are interconnected, and they contribute to overarching aim of ensuring that every child can grow and thrive in a society that recognizes and protects their rights. This symposium, therefore, serves as an important platform to discuss and strategize on how best to translate these commitments into tangible outcomes for children in Nepal. Recognizing the state as the primary duty bearer for the realization of children's rights, UNICEF, as a partner and working very closely with the government, is supporting the vision and the goals and the objectives of the country, strengthening the national justice system, and supporting in all manner of ways, working with the Ministry of Women, Children, and Senior Citizens, and all other partners, including the Attorney General, the National Judicial Academy, the women and children themselves, the directorates within the ministry, the police, the Child Rights Council, and many others, and all these in efforts to realize that there are strong mechanisms that can support children in growing in a protective environment. Some of the areas that UNICEF has worked and contributed to include the law and policy reforms for effective access to justice for children, capacity building of justice and law enforcement personnel, promotion and support of diversion and non-custodial measures, which remains very, very critical because children, as we all know and understand, are young. They can be cheated, they can try out things to discover, and they fall into the wrong side of the law. So promoting diversion, rehabilitating them back to society remains very, very important. Support to improve the existing correction homes, legal empowerment for children and community members through outreach interventions, improving support for child victims, survivors, and witnesses of crime, research and evidence generation, which contributes to the knowledge of data and information management system as a whole. While significant progress has been made in this area, there are also key areas that we all need to look at as partners so that we can address still the gaps in those areas. And just to attest that UNICEF is here to support and be part of the system and be able to strengthen that system. The first one is implementing the provisions of diversion, probation, restorative justice, and social protection measures for all children. We know that there are very good laws and policies in place, but we need really to fast-track the implementation of those, particularly supporting the sub-national levels with capacity, with guidance, with measures, and with all that it takes to be able to implement those laws and make them a reality and practice for children and supporting those who come in contact with the law. The next one that we need to look at, all of us as partners, is improving the situation of the correction homes by providing adequate and quality services to meet the needs of those children while they are in the correction homes. They need to continue growing, they need to continue learning, they need to continue with the developmental programs that need to be accessed to them. Otherwise, they stay in there, and when they come out, they have been left behind with milestones in terms of their growth and also their development and being able members to contribute to society. And thirdly, supporting with reintegration programs that can be able to ensure that they transition back to communities and to families better. The third one is introducing special interventions for child victims and survivors of crime or link them with appropriate services such as health and education. And this requires coordination, linkages, and information management in terms of the children, their levels, and what really they need so that they can be able to continue in their development. The third one is taking proactive measures to expedite the prosecution of cases. Some children stay for quite a long time before their cases can be heard, and therefore they can be directed accordingly. And that way they can be able to catch up with their developmental programs. So looking into the delays and expediting the process will really help children in terms of their rights, but also in terms of development and growth. Revising laws and policies, particularly raising the age of criminal responsibility from age 10 to a higher age. Age 10 is barely a child who is around grade 3 or 4. So really giving criminal responsibility to a child as age 10, this is a child that is growing. We know that children can be cheated, they can be taken advantage of, they can be wooed into things, their brain has not matured, and they can be enticed by adults in the community. So at the age of 10, to give these children a criminal responsibility is a very high sentence to pay in life. And this is really one area that UNICEF is really asking, requesting, and advocating that we can all look at this and be able to support these children, because they take some criminal responsibilities which is too heavy for them, and they pay a price for life, while those actually who cheated them are going free. So looking into this and strengthening the system in terms of actually those who predate on young children is one of the things that we could look at if we need to give our children an opportunity to grow and be members that can contribute to the society in future. Investing in strong community mechanisms remains very core to support children to grow well and to give them a protective environment. And finally, strengthening and harmonizing data management system. This symposium, therefore, with the high-level dignitaries and expertise present here today, provides a very strong foundation and platform to deliberate the gaps within the child-juvenile system, and hopefully with very good proposals in terms of how all of us can pitch in and be able to support the system. I am confident that today's discussions and deliberations will result in concrete actions that will improve the lives of Nepal's children. Let us use this opportunity to reaffirm our dedication to protecting, promoting, and fulfilling the rights of all children in Nepal. UNICEF in Nepal will remain committed to support the government in realizing its vision in this and working with all stakeholders in efforts to improve the child-juvenile system. Lastly, I'm very grateful to the Child Justice Committee for convening this critical event, and I wish everyone a successful symposium. Please remember that your success today means success for children in Nepal, but more importantly, your success today means saving and helping a life of a child in Nepal.